Music and humans have been longtime companions. Starting from the soft lullabies we hear in infancy, music accompanies us through childhood games, celebrations, parties, and even moments of death and mourning. Even in modern society, people come together to dance to exciting rhythms and soothe weary hearts by listening to serene melodies. Music is a universal phenomenon, observed in every culture throughout history. Here arises a question: what role did music play in ancient human societies to evolve into the complex and refined culture we see today? Although there's no definitive answer, let's explore one prominent hypothesis supported by many scholars. The origins of music: deceptive predators. Many primates originally led arboreal lives in densely forested areas. However, over time, some of them transitioned to a terrestrial lifestyle. This shift elevated the risk posed by terrestrial predators. Indeed, capuchin monkeys, which inhabited islands where terrestrial predators were absent, utilized the land about 200 times less frequently than those who lived in areas where predators existed. This indicates that the threat of predation strongly inhibited the terrestrial activities of prey animals. Humans share a common ancestor with other primates. Molecular clock analysis shows that our hominid ancestors diverged from chimpanzees around 5 to 8 million years ago, eventually leading to the emergence of modern human species. Similarly, humans face significant pressure from predators due to their terrestrial lifestyle. As human ancestors increasingly inhabited the African savanna, they underwent various evolutionary processes. In this process, two additional challenges regarding predation pressure emerged. As human ancestors moved to open habitats on the expansive African savanna with their relatively weak and small bodies, the threat from predators increased significantly. Humans even engaged in direct and indirect competition with powerful predators for consuming the carcasses of dead animals. At this time, human ancestors were both predators and potential prey themselves. To secure animal carcasses, they had to compete with creatures like lions and spotted hyenas. In fact, the competition was so intense that an estimated minimum of 20% to a maximum of 50% of spotted hyena deaths were attributed to lions. In this context, the relatively weak, small, and slow early humans required a high level of cooperation for effective defense against predators. One of the methods they employed was coming together in groups, stomping their feet, clapping their hands, using dynamic body movements, and producing harmonious sounds collectively. This caused significant confusion for predators attempting to gauge the strength and size of the opposing group. In a study conducted in 2017, it was reported that hunter-gatherers used trance dances, rhythmic clapping, drumming, and singing to chase wild animals. Research reveals that predators roaming in the dark often find it challenging to estimate the size and threat of an opposing group when they unexpectedly hear large harmonious sounds and pitches. As a result, they tend to be deterred from approaching that group. This phenomenon is observed in various species, as many animals make efforts to block or evade predators' approaches. Some animals use inconspicuous visual elements to blend in with their surroundings, while others puff up their bodies. Species that live in groups often use collective vocalizations and visual cues to establish territorial boundaries or create confusion for potential threats. In essence, many species, including primates, indicate their intentions of defense or warning against intruders through both auditory and visual elements. Development of systematic auditory signals. As they began utilizing these auditory signals, some primate species evolved specific warning calls for individual predators. For instance, the green monkey uses various types of vocalizations for communication. Scientists discovered that one specific vocalization meant warning of an eagle attack, while a slightly different sound indicated warning of a lion attack. When scientists played the recorded sounds to the monkeys for the first time, they observed remarkable reactions. Upon hearing the first sound, the monkeys immediately stopped their activities, looked up in alarm, and when the second sound was played, they reacted with fear, rapidly seeking refuge in the trees. This illustrates that monkeys can use sound for simple communication, and specific auditory signals are directly related to the emotional state of the monkeys. Especially among species that live cooperatively in groups, there is a tendency for the development of highly structured visual and auditory signals among group members. Human beings are no exception. At present, we can express and describe emotions in great detail using the languages of different countries within the same group. However, in the past, when systematic conversational techniques did not exist, the situation was different. Humans, too, would have communicated emotions and situations using various auditory signals tailored to specific circumstances. However, unlike primates, humans are far more cooperative and social animals, which led to the development of highly systematic auditory signals. From here, specific rhythms, melodies, and combinations of harmonies can evoke different feelings in humans. Some combinations can induce a sense of joy, while others can create a feeling of tranquility, or even induce a sense of fear or eeriness. In essence, humans can express a wide range of nuanced emotions through their auditory systems. This is a personal perspective, but if certain auditory signals can touch upon a variety of human emotions, then it's possible that there are specific melodies or harmonic combinations that can touch upon aspects of love and attraction. And perhaps, towards entities that systematically articulate these auditory signals, we might feel an endearing charm, don't you think? The evolution of culture. Humans pass down their genes by giving birth to offspring. But there's something else that gets passed down to future generations: culture. In this way, systematized auditory elements become entrenched in the culture of a human group, exhibiting a tendency to be transmitted to the next generation. This phenomenon is also observed in monkey societies. In a certain group of monkeys, they consume potatoes from the ground, and these potatoes come with soil attached. Therefore, the monkeys have no choice but to consume the soil along with the potatoes, making digestion more difficult. While it would be more energy efficient to eat clean potatoes, such an option doesn't exist. Then, one female monkey discovered a method of rinsing the potatoes in water to remove the soil. Gradually, other monkeys started emulating this behavior, and it soon spread throughout the entire group. The offspring also learned this knowledge from their parents. As time passed, even though the older generation of monkeys had all passed away, the group of monkeys continued to wash and eat their potatoes following the method learned from their parents. Yes, that's the transmission of culture. Ethnomusicologists emphasize this cultural perspective on music. Modern composers also argue that individual musical preferences can vary with culture, and exposure to different sounds alone can modify preferences. For example, if I grew up listening to jazz music frequently as a child, my taste might lean towards jazz. If I grew up listening to K-pop, my preference might be for K-pop. In other words, whether it's monkeys or humans, some species, albeit in a rudimentary form, create their own culture and pass it down. Sometimes, they even develop more advanced forms of culture. So, the auditory signals that humans have developed have ultimately evolved into classical, jazz, K-pop, EDM, and more have come to dominate the earth. Subscribing and liking the video are a great help. Thanks for watching.